In a dramatic unfolding of events, tensions within the Trump administration have erupted into a public feud between Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, and Peter Navarro, a senior economic advisor known for his staunch support of the president's aggressive tariff policies. The clash, marked by Musk's scathing comments on social media, has not only put a spotlight on the contrasting views within the administration but also raised concerns about the implications for U.S. trade policy and market stability. The discord began to escalate following President Trump's announcement of new tariffs on European imports, which Navarro ardently supports. Musk, who has been an outspoken critic of the tariffs, voiced his hope for a zero-tariff policy during a conference in Italy, advocating for a closer partnership between the U.S. and Europe. He contended that the tariffs would hinder economic growth and innovation, particularly in the electric vehicle sector. Musk's comments were met with a sharp retort from Navarro, who dismissed the billionaire's expertise in manufacturing, labeling him merely a car assembler. The situation further intensified when Musk took to the platform X, formerly Twitter, to describe Navarro as dumber than a sack of bricks, a remark he later amplified by posting a link to a Kelley Blue Book study that highlighted Tesla as one of the top American-made car producers. This public spat has drawn the attention of the White House, where Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt characterized the feud as a benign case of boys will be boys, asserting that the administration welcomes diverse opinions on trade matters. However, market analysts are sounding alarms about the potential repercussions of such infighting. Paul Donovan, chief economist at UBS, noted that public disagreements among key advisors increase uncertainty about trade policies, which could have far-reaching implications for international trade relations and domestic economic stability. As the stock market grapples with volatility exacerbated by the recent tariff announcements, the lack of a unified message from the White House is seen as detrimental. In the backdrop of this feud, a new legislative effort is taking shape in Congress. Senator Jeanne Shaheen of New Hampshire has introduced a bill aimed at preventing conflicts of interest that could arise from Musk's dual roles as a special government employee and CEO of companies heavily intertwined with government contracts. Shaheen's proposed legislation seeks to prohibit awarding government contracts to companies with significant ownership stakes held by special government employees, a move that many view as a direct response to Musk's growing influence within the White House. Despite these tensions, President Trump appears to be maintaining his support for Musk, framing him as an essential voice within his administration. As the conflict plays out, it underscores the complexities of navigating trade policy amid competing interests and the challenges of maintaining a cohesive administration. Looking ahead, the ramifications of this feud may extend beyond personal animosities, influencing broader economic policies and public perceptions of the administration's handling of critical issues. As both Musk and Navarro continue to spar publicly, all eyes will remain on how the White House manages internal discord while attempting to project a unified front on trade matters, a balancing act that will be crucial for the administration's credibility and the stability of U.S. markets in the coming months. In a dramatic reshaping of the federal workforce, President Donald Trump's administration is executing an ambitious and controversial plan known as Project 2025, spearheaded by Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency (DOGE). This initiative, which aims to eliminate perceived inefficiencies within the federal government, has quickly escalated into a chaotic process marked by mass layoffs and agency dismantling. Critics argue that the administration's execution has not only disregarded established protocols but has also jeopardized essential public services, igniting widespread concern among civil rights advocates and government watchdogs. Launched on January 20, 2025, Project 2025 outlines sweeping policy changes that include a comprehensive overhaul of federal agencies. The plan, largely influenced by conservative think tanks like the Heritage Foundation, proposes significant reductions in the federal workforce, the elimination of entire agencies, and a systematic dismantling of federal employee unions. According to reports, the Trump administration has already laid off or plans to lay off over 280,000 federal workers and contractors across 27 agencies, a move that could have devastating ramifications for critical programs such as Medicaid and Social Security. In its initial phases, Dodge targeted agencies it deemed too woke, leading to the abrupt firing of employees from the U.S. Agency for International Development USAID and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau CFPB. Legal challenges have followed, with federal unions filing lawsuits against these layoffs, arguing that they violate civil service protections. A recent Supreme Court ruling has temporarily upheld some of these firings, but lower courts have also mandated the reinstatement of many affected employees, creating a complex legal landscape. Musk's vision for Doge extends beyond workforce reductions. It includes the reclassification of civil service roles under a new schedule policy/career designation intended to strip many federal employees of their protections. Critics fear that this shift will further politicize the federal workforce, which has traditionally operated on a merit-based system. As federal agencies begin to implement these changes, they are required to submit plans outlining the anticipated reductions in force, raising alarms about the future of government service delivery. The rapid pace at which these changes are unfolding has led to a sense of confusion and anxiety within the federal workforce. In a bid to mitigate backlash, the administration has introduced a voluntary deferred retirement program offering severance packages to incentivize departures. However, these measures, coupled with mandatory return-to-office policies and a hiring freeze, have created an environment that many see as hostile to prospective government employees. Experts predict a significant brain drain as experienced civil servants exit, leaving critical vacancies that may not be easily filled. Furthermore, the administration's approach to union power has drawn ire from labor advocates. Trump's executive orders targeting collective bargaining rights in various departments have spurred immediate legal action from labor unions, who argue that such measures undermine the interests of federal workers and disrupt the balance of power between employees and management. In response to growing concerns about transparency and accountability, the General Accountability Office (GAO) has initiated an audit of DOJ's activities across multiple federal agencies. This inquiry will examine the handling of sensitive data and the operational integrity of DOJ, as reports of unauthorized access and potential data misuse have surfaced. As the investigation unfolds, it will seek to address fundamental questions regarding the administration's compliance with privacy laws and the safeguarding of citizens' personal information. Looking ahead, the ramifications of Project 2025 will likely extend far beyond the immediate workforce reductions. With several legal battles pending and a significant restructuring of the federal government underway, the long-term effects on public service and employee morale may be profound. As watchdogs and labor organizations continue to voice their concerns, the landscape of federal employment is poised for significant transformation, with implications for the quality of services provided to the American public. The coming weeks will be critical as federal agencies prepare their reduction plans and face further scrutiny from the courts. Observers remain wary of how these changes will alter the structure and function of government, as well as the public's trust in its ability to deliver essential services. With the administration's aggressive agenda in full swing, the future of the federal workforce hangs in the balance, awaiting developments that will undoubtedly resonate for generations to come. In a week marked by significant developments for Tesla, the electric vehicle giant faces both challenges and opportunities as it navigates a changing landscape. From its debut in Saudi Arabia under the unforgiving desert sun to a recent surge in stock prices, Tesla remains a focal point in the automotive and tech industries. Investors and consumers alike are observing closely as the company grapples with both its ambitious goals and the impact of external factors. Tesla's recent entry into the Saudi Arabian market is a noteworthy expansion for the company. However, it is not without its hurdles. The harsh desert climate poses unique challenges for electric vehicles, particularly regarding battery performance and range. Additionally, the lack of a robust charging infrastructure in the region could deter potential buyers. Despite these obstacles, the debut has sparked interest, particularly as the kingdom pushes towards diversifying its economy and investing in sustainable technologies. A Tesla spokesperson noted, We are excited to bring our technology to new markets, and we are committed to providing the necessary support to ensure a seamless transition for consumers. On the financial front, Tesla's stock has exhibited a remarkable turnaround, rising 5.2% in a single day despite the backdrop of escalating tariffs imposed by China and the European Union on U.S. goods. Analysts attribute this rally to the inclusion of Tesla in a Wall Street firm's Best Ideas list, with benchmark analyst Mickey Legg asserting that the recent sell-off was overdone. Concerns about Tesla's immediate future are overblown considering the opportunities that lie ahead, Legg stated, referencing anticipated product launches that could rejuvenate sales. This perspective aligns with investor sentiment as the stock's price climbed from a low of $223.90 to around $251 within a matter of hours. Amid these developments, Tesla has also made headlines with a significant price cut for its Model Y, dropping it by $11,000 as the company adjusts its product lineup to prioritize more profitable offerings. The removal of the launch series has streamlined options, with the long-range all-wheel drive variant now starting at $50,380. This strategic move aims to rekindle interest in a model that was once the best-selling vehicle globally but has experienced a slump due to various factors, including Musk's polarizing political stances. The evolving narrative surrounding Tesla is not limited to market performance and product offerings. Former enthusiasts such as journalist William Dietrich have expressed disillusionment with the brand, citing concerns over Musk's leadership and company direction. Dietrich, who traded his Tesla Model Y for an Audi e-tron, reflected on the emotional journey of once being a passionate supporter of the brand. "My enchantment with the car company has ended," he stated, attributing his decision to a combination of performance issues and Musk's controversial political engagement. Such sentiments echo a growing sentiment among some consumers who feel disconnected from the brand's current trajectory. As Tesla grapples with these multifaceted challenges, the company stands at a crossroads. The potential for innovation remains high, with exciting projects on the horizon, including the launch of a new vehicle model and the anticipated rollout of Tesla's robotaxi service. However, the company must also address mounting criticisms and navigate the complexities of a rapidly changing market environment. Looking forward, Tesla's ability to adapt to these challenges while capitalizing on its strengths will be crucial. The electric vehicle market is evolving, with increased competition and consumer expectations pushing the boundaries of innovation. As the company continues to expand its global footprint, all eyes will be on how it navigates these turbulent times and whether it can reclaim its position as a leader in the electric vehicle revolution. As the technological landscape evolves, the spotlight remains firmly fixed on Elon Musk and his ventures, particularly SpaceX and Tesla. While Tesla faces significant backlash and a sharp decline in stock value, plummeting 55% from its peak, SpaceX stands unshaken, still basking in the glow of its valuation as the world's most valuable private company. However, as the ambitious Starlink satellite internet project expands, questions arise regarding the sustainability of this valuation amid economic realities and Musk's turbulent public persona. Musk launched Starlink as a means to finance his grander vision of colonizing Mars. "Starlink is how we are paying for humanity to get to Mars," he stated on his social platform X last year. The service has indeed made astonishing strides, rapidly amassing 5 million customers less than 5 years post-launch, effectively doubling the market share of previous satellite communication leaders like Viasat and Hughes. Despite this growth, analysts are beginning to express concerns about the long-term viability of Starlink's business model. While SpaceX's valuation soared to $350 billion by December, buoyed by optimistic projections of Starlink's potential, the financial metrics of the satellite service suggest that the current valuation might not be sustainable. Tim Farrar, an independent telecom consultant, remarked, "The valuation is not consistent with what are the technical realities of the constellation as we know it today. The market for launching cargo into space is relatively small, estimated between $10 billion and $15 billion annually. In contrast, the telecommunications market is significantly larger, with Starlink eyeing a slice of the over $1 trillion pie. Starlink aims to do this by offering high-speed internet access to underserved regions, with forecasts suggesting revenues could hit $12.3 billion in 2025, a staggering increase of 58% from the previous year. However, the reality is that Starlink's services are often not suitable for densely populated urban areas, limiting its customer base considerably. The launch of Starlink's planned V3 satellites, which promise to enhance data transmission capabilities tenfold, may alleviate some of these concerns. Yet the underlying economic model, especially in terms of pricing, remains a critical issue. As Musk himself has acknowledged, Starlink was designed primarily to serve remote areas that traditional internet infrastructure cannot reach. For SpaceX to penetrate urban markets effectively, it might need to aggressively lower its prices, which could erode profit margins. In addition to domestic challenges, SpaceX faces geopolitical hurdles. Relations with governments have soured in some regions due to Musk's political affiliations and actions, particularly his ties to the Trump administration. For instance, Ontario recently cancelled a $68 million contract with Starlink, while other nations such as Italy have halted potential deals, preferring to explore alternatives that do not involve Musk's companies. Meanwhile, the competitive landscape is heating up. Jeff Bezos's Amazon is slated to launch its Project Kuiper, a constellation of 3,232 satellites designed to compete directly with Starlink. The first set of 27 satellites is scheduled for launch soon, challenging SpaceX's current dominance in this burgeoning market. Analysts predict that the competition will intensify, particularly as other international players such as China's SpaceX seek to establish their own satellite networks. As SpaceX navigates these complexities, the future remains uncertain. The success of Starship, a key component in Musk's vision for space travel and broader communications, will be pivotal. The rocket's ability to lower launch costs and increase payload capacity is critical to SpaceX's growth trajectory in both the satellite internet market and beyond. Gwynne Shotwell, SpaceX's president, emphasized the importance of Starship, stating, "I think Starship will be the thing that takes us over the top as one of the most valuable companies." In conclusion, while SpaceX currently enjoys a lofty valuation and a pioneering position in satellite communications, the path ahead is fraught with challenges. Economic realities, geopolitical tensions, and intensifying competition all pose significant threats. Investors and industry observers alike will be closely watching how Musk navigates these obstacles, as the interplay between innovation, market demands, and public perception will ultimately dictate the future of SpaceX and its ambitious Starlink project. In an intriguing intersection of politics, social media, and advertising, recent revelations about the Australian government's spending on Elon Musk's X, formerly Twitter, have sparked discussions over brand safety and public perception. Between November 2022 and November 2023, the Australian government allocated nearly $2.7 million in taxpayer dollars for advertising on the platform during Musk's first year as its owner, despite an initial pause in ad spending due to concerns about inappropriate content adjacent to government advertisements. This expenditure was disclosed following a protracted Freedom of Information request by Guardian Australia, shedding light on the government's priorities in its digital advertising strategy. The funding covered various campaigns, including public health advisories and messaging related to significant initiatives such as the Voice referendum and vaccination efforts. This year of spending coincided with a tumultuous period for X, marked by Musk's controversial leadership style and his increasing entanglement in U.S. politics. The government had paused its advertising on X in late September 2022, shortly before Musk's acquisition was finalized, in response to reports of brands' ads appearing next to inappropriate content. A finance department spokesperson stated that the decision to resume advertising on October 5 was based on assurances from the government's media agency regarding the adequacy of brand safety measures. However, following Musk's vocal support for former President Donald Trump and the subsequent politicization of the platform, experts have expressed doubts about the efficacy of such advertising. Axel Bruns, a professor at Queensland University of Technology's Digital Media Research Centre, noted that the decision to continue advertising on X might have stemmed from uncertainty over the platform's future popularity under Musk's leadership. With hindsight, there now seems little value in government advertising on X, he remarked, citing the prevalence of disinformation abuse and spam on the platform. Bruns further suggested that any ongoing government advertising could be perceived as soft diplomacy aimed at fostering goodwill with the Trump administration, though he emphasized that it would not be a wise investment given the potential damage to the government's reputation. The context of this advertising spend is further complicated by Musk's derogatory comments about the Albanese government, specifically labeling its now abandoned misinformation legislation as fascist. As Musk's popularity has declined, a recent poll indicated that over half of Americans believe he is damaging the U.S. The Australian government's continued financial support of X raises questions about the alignment of its digital strategy with public sentiment and brand safety. While the data for X's advertising spend for the subsequent year remains confidential until January 2026, sources suggest that spending levels will likely mirror those of 2022 to 2023. The Finance Department, which typically does not disclose platform-specific ad spending, faced scrutiny over its initial refusal to release this information. In a separate development, X has recently announced the launch of a new NBA portal ahead of the league's playoffs. This portal aims to enhance fan engagement through live discussions, curated content from teams and analysts, and live scores and stats. The NBA has recognized the platform's potential, with recent statistics showing significant engagement from fans, including 173 billion impressions and 14 billion views on NBA-related posts last season. As X continues to navigate its evolving role in the digital media landscape, the implications of government spending and partnerships will likely remain a focal point of discussion, particularly as the platform grapples with its identity under Musk's leadership. This scenario underscores the ongoing challenges for brands and governments alike in maintaining reputation and trust in an increasingly chaotic digital environment. Observers will be keen to see how these dynamics unfold as the 2025 federal election approaches and as X continues to develop its partnerships within the sports and entertainment sectors. In a remarkable intersection of personal milestones and groundbreaking technological advancements, recent news highlights the multifaceted life of entrepreneur Elon Musk. Not only has he welcomed a fourth child with Neuralink executive Shirvan Zilis, but the landscape of technological communication is also changing rapidly, with a new brain implant that translates thoughts into speech. On March 1, 2025, Shirvan Zilis announced via social media that she and Musk had welcomed their son Selden Lycurgus. This joyful announcement coincided with the birthday of their daughter Arcadia, prompting Zilis to share her news with heartfelt emotion. "Built like a juggernaut with a solid heart of gold. Love him so much," she wrote, with Musk responding with an affectionate heart emoji. This latest addition to their family follows the birth of their twins Strider and Azure, further emphasizing Musk's increasing legacy as a father. This announcement comes on the heels of claims by influencer Ashley St. Clair, who alleged that she too has a child with Musk, raising questions about his burgeoning family dynamics. Musk's family life is as complex as his professional endeavors, which span several industries. He has 6 children with his first wife Justine Wilson and 3 with musician Grimes. Musk's advocacy for higher birth rates has been well documented. He has warned of the perils associated with declining global birth rates, stating in a post back in July 2022 that a collapsing birth rate is the biggest danger civilization faces by far. In tandem with these personal developments, the realm of technology is experiencing its own evolution, particularly in the field of communication. Researchers at the University of California, Berkeley, have developed an innovative brain implant that promises to transform how individuals with speech impairments communicate. This experimental device is capable of converting neural signals into spoken words with an impressive delay of just 3 seconds. The implant utilizes 253 electrodes placed on the surface of the brain, specifically targeting the motor cortex, which is responsible for speech coordination. The first successful test subject, a woman named In who lost her ability to speak following a stroke, demonstrated the device's capabilities by silently reading sentences presented on a screen. As she focused on specific phrases, the implant captured her brain signals, which were then decoded by artificial intelligence into synthetic speech. Published findings in Nature Neuroscience outline how the system processes brain signals every 80 milliseconds, marking a significant leap forward from previous technologies that required longer delays and limited interaction. While the synthetic speech produced is still a work in progress, researchers foresee improvements in speed accuracy and naturalness, which could provide a vital communication lifeline for individuals facing severe physical challenges. As Musk navigates his personal and professional landscapes, his influence continues to expand. Recent satellite imagery has unveiled the staggering scale of Musk's ventures across the globe, from his starbase in Texas to ambitious Starlink and Boring Company projects. This visual evidence highlights not only the physical manifestations of Musk's entrepreneurial spirit but also reflects a broader narrative about the future of technology and communication. In light of these developments, it is clear that Musk's influence is felt not only through his personal life but also through the advancements his companies are fostering in technology. As we move forward, the implications of such innovations, whether in personal dynamics or technological breakthroughs, will undoubtedly shape conversations around family communication and the future of human interaction. The societal impacts of both Musk's growing family and pioneering technologies such as the thought-reading implant will resonate for years to come, underscoring the intertwining of human experience with technological progress.